why is the war against corruption still lingering and not has not yielded substantial fruits? There is a very good model to fight corruption. Number one, it's invent systems where those who are in agencies or government do not get to see money or cannot approve, does not have the power to approve money and all that. Now, here is what I mean. If you are in an agency, let's take for example, transport agency, and you want to buy bus, you don't say I want to buy bus and then give me $50 million. I want to buy bus. No, sir. Right? I want to buy bus. Submit it to the necessary. There is a necessary agency. There is a necessary agency that dispenses cash. Okay, I want to buy bus. What $50 million from this agency? You write to the agency, $50 million, deliver bus to this agency. By the time we do that, and people cannot see this thing, I'm not saying corruption will be eradicated though, but it will be minimized to the barest minimum. Number two thing, why the corruption case has not been successful is that we're not using the right method. I think Nigeria is one of the countries that is not saying things as they are. Will I say they are sick? Albert Einstein said, if you keep doing the same thing and you're expecting a different result, it shows that you are mad. So the method to which we have been engaging in services, in running our government, running our schools, running our everything, is what is contributing to the corruption. So we should invent methods that will help reduce corruption. Like in the civil service, for example, how about you want to do something, or you want to collect or whatsoever, you go to the bank, you pay it, you come with a stamp, and then you give this stamp to this person, the person do whatever you want to do, and you go. It will reduce corruption. Nobody will be able to say this thing that they normally do for 15 naira, you're going to pay 17 naira. No, it will reduce. But if you bring technologies like maybe you digitize everything, use blockchain, you use artificial intelligence, you use big data, you automate the processes, you solve the problem. Number three reasons why we've not been able to gain meaningful success when it comes to corruption is that the agencies that are fighting corruption are not independent. Why did I say so? Let me bring three cases before you. Number one, the Onoge case. EFCC said they've made some progress in the investigation, and that they've written a letter to Buhari. The question is, why are you writing the letter to Buhari? Are you writing a letter to Buhari seeking his go ahead on doing the needful? What is the needful? If you've seen these are the evidence against him, why write to Buhari? Go and prosecute him. Are you writing to Buhari and says, should we proceed with the investigation or should we not? So that is the problem. These institutions are not independent. There are powers that decide who should be investigated, who should be prosecuted, and no, it's not supposed to be so. Now, the Onogo case, the president illegally and unconstitutionally removed him from power. Are we saying the Onogo is not guilty? Onogo is guilty, but the method to which you remove him from power is not. The president is supposed to be impeached, but did anybody impeach him? No. Let's take for example, if somebody came here now, do you know that if someone stole, and as it happens in Nigeria, most of the times people go around everywhere and then they kill the person that stole. Do you know that if that person that stole and you kill that person, you are guilty? You are guilty. So we have to come to the point where our institutions are free from the interference of any arm of government. That is why when people are saying we are fighting corruption, it is called, they are using that as a weapon. When you get to power and fight corruption, you are fighting the opposition. How many people have crossed from one party who had cases they cross from one party to another and their cases have been struck off. That is why you see the war against corruption has not actually yielded fruit. Number four reason why the war against corruption has not yielded substantial fruit is there is always delay in justice. So if Nigerian, for example, will be able to solve corruption cases, we have to create special courts for special stuffs. If and this court should be independent of any arm of government. So because there is the prosecution and the justice for corruption cases take a lot of time. That is why people do whatever they want to do. It takes a lot of time. Number five reason why the war against corruption has not yielded fruit is the penalty. You see someone who is being accused of corruption case will bail himself with like 100 million naira. Question is, how much is the salary of a sitting governor? Reports say the salary of a sitting governor, I think, is less than 1 million naira. But you see someone, a sitting governor who has a case against him, will be able to produce 100 million naira as bail. So are you saying that in a month you've 12 months make a year? So in 4 years you had 36. So you now have 36. 36. If you can produce 100 million naira, it means that you have been able to produce a salary that extends more than 5 years. And not only that salary that extends more than 5 years, it means that you are saying that you did not spend your salary for 5 years. So, because there is no stiff punishment against people, and we see these people, they jump from place to place. Because there is no... When we say we are fighting corruption, it's just a kind of partisan stuff. How many people, President Buhari, who's shouting integrity, how many people are working with the president who are guilty? Who had corruption cases with them from the PDP before they left to go to the APC? Are we fighting? Are we actually following up their cases? So because these stuffs are not fought the right way, the war against corruption is lingering. And when you look at the effects of corruption, there's a report that says corruption takes like $21 trillion out of the system every year worldwide. When you look at the massive weight of Nigeria, when you have let's say for example, you go to Delta states, you go to the Niger Delta region, the places that have the oil, and you look at the places, you're like, are you sure you guys actually have the oil? Is this the place they pump out the millions of dollars from? And this place is developed. The water cannot drink the water. The air is polluted. Even the people cannot fish anymore. They cannot even plant crops. You're like, what can be responsible? It's corruption. The place that they take millions of dollars from, they don't have schools. There is no health facility. When you look at the Nigerian system, you see the corruption. You look at our roads. Potholes has become part of our lives. You see people suffering. We have been declared poverty capital of the world. Our health system is not working. Where do you hear in another part of the world that there is strike? Students stay at home. You plan to spend 4 years. At the end of the day, if you are not lucky, you might even spend. If you are lucky enough, you can spend 6 years in school. When abnormally or anomaly thrives with impunity, there is no more society. In our country, only in our country, do we, as in every day, we keep hearing people are dying, people 50 dead here, 10 dead here, 20 dead. Oh, they died. We just scroll. We read that, oh, they've died. As in, before we hear that people die, and we're like, what is going on? Death has become normal. People are stealing national wealth. When we're talking about corruption is not just it's not just around money. When people are making policies that are not favoring the people. When you talk about rigging elections, when you talk about the perverting of justice, all this, we are turning blind eye to the real issues that affect the masses. We are talking about how a president, a governor, a senator is performing. That is, we're not looking at indices. But let's go and look at the life of the people in the streets. What are the systems you've put in place? Why poverty and wealth, there are issues that have to do with people, but you have to understand there's something called the environment. And when you are planting seed, if the environment is not good, it affects. Nigeria is one of the worst places to live currently. Why? Because of corruption. So you want to ask yourself, the war against corruption, how far has it gone? It has not yielded fruits. Why? Because the people who are fighting corruption, they are corrupt. When Saraki was shouting and saying the Onegi who was removed is unconstitutional, everybody knows it's unconstitutional. It's true. But Saraki, was he not guilty? Did he not remove the chief judge in his state? What about the likes of Obasanjo who were shouting? So when you look at the country, you see that there is so much hypocrisy, there is so much corruption in the church, everywhere. When you, I said, listen, go before the international community. The world in Nigeria, it's like physics. I'm a Nigerian. I'm not saying it to degrade our country. When people hear in Nigeria, it's like physics. Even, let's say, for example, you want to apply for a job or you want to communicate. Look at the yahoos that is going on. You want to communicate with a white person or whatsoever, and immediately hear that you are a Nigerian. You better pray hard that the image of the country does not affect you, because our people, politicians, people, they have degraded the country. A large chunk of the scams that goes on the internet are perpetrated by Nigerians. Drugs, Nigerians. So it's actually a very big problem. What Nigeria needs at this moment are individuals, institutions, religious, educational, any that have integrity, that do not sell us integrity, but that we can look from all indices. Wherever you want to look at, you want to say they have integrity, and that they are competent. We have no other country. Irrespective, wherever you are, let's say you are abroad or whatsoever, you have no country. Nigeria is our only country. When the Israelites were spread all over the world, when they came together in 1948, when everything was against them, they had a lot of enemies and all that. They said, we have no other country but this. And they fought for it, and they are still fighting for it. We have not another country. We just have Nigeria. And if we don't salvage the situation, those who we call leaders are ready to scrape everything from the country, and they will not rest until the country goes down. The leaders are like, they're like, Nigeria currently is dead. They're like microbes. They're like bacteria. They will not bring life to the dead being. But Nigeria is dead. But they want to scrape all the flesh and leave it bone, that it cannot be resurrected and brought back. So the internet is here. Offline is here. Nigerians need to speak up. Nigerians need to question the leaders. It's not fighting government. It's holding them to account. It's holding them accountable. If you are a Christian or a Muslim, this is not the time to say, I don't like getting myself in politics. Nobody's saying you should get into politics, but this is time where you talk about the issues that affect us. Whether you like it or not, there are issues that affect us. If they make the laws like you cannot go out, it affects you. If the politician was giving money to construct a road and the politician did not construct the road, you take your car past that place, it affects you. So they have someone, they want to involve in politics. We have to take that aside and start demanding responsible leadership. Why? Because when Nigerians go abroad, they look everywhere like, wow, this place is fine. Listen, it is not aliens that built those countries, it is people. A word is enough for the wise. I believe Nigeria shall be great.